I'm here to talk today about Silver North Resources. We just rebranded as Silver North back in August of 2023. And that was really in response to some of the developments around our main project, which John mentioned earlier, which is called Mount Haldane in the Keno Hill Mining District. And this really revolved around the fact that Alexco Resources, who was the miner, the operator at Keno Hill, was running into trouble. They were having throughput issues at their mill. They also had a stream that overhung that mine that took profit right off the table. And it really dates back to the fact that in the Keno district, these long-lived silver mines, this is a 100-plus-year-old district, they thought that the deposits would get zinc-rich with depth. So this probably had an effect on the Alexco team. I wasn't there involved in the negotiations of that stream, but it seems obvious that if you put a silver stream on what you thought was going to be a zinc mine, that would make sense. But when it turns out that that zinc mine is actually a really nice silver mine, that hurts your bottom line in a big way. So we really wanted to be positioned so that when the Keno district comes back to life and it's the vigor returns and investors can look at it as a place for a miner to make money, we're right next door with the next, we hope, set of deposits. Classic forward-looking statements. Some of the things that I say today may not turn out to be true. We all hope for the best, and we hope that Mother Nature blesses us with the deposits that we seek. So here's a map of the Yukon Territory. We have two main projects, Mount Haldane, which I have mentioned, and then we also have a project called Tim, which is in the southern part of the territory, right at the BC-Yukon border, and that's an option to Coeur Mining. They'll be doing some drilling on that project this summer, also a high-grade silver target. Well, why are we here? We believe, and John touched on this in his talk quite nicely, the best bang for your buck, we think, is at the discovery stage, and that's exactly where Silver North sits today with both our projects, Tim and Haldane. John showed this map in his presentation, but this is essentially the core of the Keno Hill district, over 100-year-old silver district. There's been over 220 million ounces of silver produced here. Great infrastructure. You have power, road access right to our projects and many of these projects in the area. And what's really interesting is over, say the district is 10 years old. The gold potential in this district's only been recognized in the last 10 years. So we look at that as a very, very positive development in that as geologists we look for areas that are dynamic. When you have big systems that are dynamic that can produce multiple styles of mineralization, those are usually what become world-class deposits and jurisdictions. So here's just a satellite view looking at the Keno district itself with Keno on the right-hand side. That's where most of the facilities now for processing are. Flame and Moth and Birmingham are two of the deposits that Hecla is active on right now. And you can see Mount Haldane at the left-hand side of the photo. That's our property package there. Not to harp on geology too long, but the light blue sort of band that runs through the middle of this image, where most of the deposits are located, is a really important unit. And that you have to have that unit. It's called the Basal Hill Quartzite if you want to produce Keno-style silver, lead, zinc veins. And we have a nice exposure of that at Mount Haldane. What's really interesting here is that the last period of glaciation in this part of the world came down the valley from the east to the west, and they basically terminated at Mount Haldane. So what that means for an investor and for us as explorers is that the glacier scraped off all the old weathered vein material that might be hiding nice, strong silver mineralization underneath it. So when the sourdoughs came into this area in the early 1900s, they were able to find fresh silver mineralization on surface. You go over to Mount Haldane, you haven't had that. So now you've got this weathered, rotten vein material hiding the vein mineralization. So you have to actually drill underneath that to see good silver mineralization. And this is what allows us to make brand new discoveries in this district 100+ years later. This is looking at the core of our property, looking off to the northwest. This main valley we call Bighorn Creek. Our West Fault discovery is on the right-hand side. We were very fortunate to make a discovery there, 311 grams per ton silver, over 8.7 meters true width. And that was really a key for us. We knew there was high-grade mineralization here. You can see the Middlecoff and Johnson areas. This is where in the early 1900s there was a little bit of fresh mineralization discovered right in the valley bottom. Small scale, but very high grade production. So we knew we could get high grades. What we needed to see was thickness. And with that 8.7 meter intersection, we saw that. And then we follow that up with 3 meters, or just over 3 meters, of 1,300 grams per ton silver. And just for reference, 300 grams is sort of the cutoff at the mine. So we want to make sure we're finding 300 plus grams per ton over thick widths, and we are starting to do that. So West Fault is this new discovery. We also have an area called Bighorn down at the head of the valley, or the opening of the valley. That's a brand new discovery from soil geochemistry. We drilled a hole, made a discovery there. And when we showed it to the team over at the mine, we didn't think it was all that significant. It was only 125 grams per ton silver. That's not ore. And they really got on us. You have to go follow that up. You could be 50 meters away from an ore grade discovery. At the time, we had just drilled into the West Fault, so that sort of took our focus away. So this year, Bighorn would be another area we would want to get back into. The other project we have is called TIM. This is the one near the BC Yukon border, partnered with Coeur. Coeur has done some groundwork, really evaluating our project to see what kind of similarities it has to their Silvertip mine project 19 kilometers to the south of us in British Columbia. They can eventually earn 80% by making a positive decision to mine, and they have to do that by 2028. They're funding all the work, they're doing all the exploration, so it's a great one for us in that we get Coeur's expertise. They've done a really good job of adding silver resources to their deposit at Silvertip, and they're pretty eager to take that knowledge and apply it at our TIM property. So we're looking forward to a drill program with them in June this year. This is another satellite view, Google Earth image of the region. You can see Watson Lake in the southeast part of the Yukon is the nearest large town. You come off the highway down south into British Columbia, you get to Silvertip, and access right into our property by road comes off that Silvertip mine road. What we're after here, much like at Haldane, a lot of these veins are weathered on surface. You don't see great silver mineralization. You might find the odd bit of galena, which is a lead mineral that hosts most of the silver. When you do, you can get high grades. And so some trenching that was done in the 1980s, they uncovered 350 grams per ton silver with some lead over 3.7 meters. Coeur was able to replicate that in one trench last year, 4 meters of even higher grade at 468 grams per ton silver. So it was a really good sign. They also had another trench with much wider intercept, a little lower grade, but we're waiting on the details of their project, or their program, sorry, for this year. I should have that. We have meetings with them later this month that will detail that out. But my guess is that they're going to set up back from these trenches and test this mineralization at depth. So a second discovery opportunity within the company. And again, that's where we're going to add value for our shareholders. We don't rely on the silver price to go up. We're looking at adding ounces, silver ounces to our portfolio, and that's where our investors are really going to benefit. And this is just another avenue for us to do that. So John touched on the critical metals issue, or the fact that there could be bottlenecks, et cetera, due to geopolitical conditions. We strongly believe that, but we also think that with the current industrial trends, silver has a great future in front of it. So with our two projects, we feel like we have a great chance to feed those next silver deposits into the pipeline. Just a little bit of our share structure. We're 37 million shares outstanding, so tight structure, and we're looking forward to trying to build that market cap from the $4 million it is today up to much, much higher prices with hopefully a discovery. I'll leave it at that.